heart is truly broken. They stay that age forever in here.
Communities united for an event commemorating the Partition of India at Whitworth Art Gallery in Manchester on Saturday. 72 years on from the catastrophic event which resulted in the deaths of up to 2 million Muslims, Sikhs and Hindus. Binita Kane, whose father survived the partition, hailed the turnout at the event, and now she has firmly set her sights on continuing to build momentum to ensure the commemoration campaign gains national as well as global recognition. Binita, great turnout here at the event. Can you just outline, how did we get here?
It's been quite a journey. So, as you know, I took part in a BBC documentary a couple of years ago, which was called My Family, Partition and Me, and that really triggered me to start campaigning to get the history of partition on the school curriculum, but also to have a Partition Commemoration Day. And so it's just been the culmination of a lot of support, a lot of different organisations getting behind the campaign, and I'm really grateful to Manchester Museum and the Whitworth Art Gallery who have supported today's event, which is brilliant. So I think it's just that grassroots getting behind the campaign is how we've got here.
And why do you believe it's actually taken 7 decades for awareness around just what the partition was to sort of get out there in the public domain?
It's a really good question, and I'm not an expert on this subject, so I don't know what the reasons are, but my impression is that it's a really difficult subject to talk about because it's about religious violence, it's about how the British dealt with the issue of partition, which we know they don't come out looking really great. But actually no one comes out of this looking good. India, Pakistan, no one. And it's something I think people just want to forget about, but actually by forgetting about it, we're not confronting the wounds that are still open and raw because of partition 70 years later. So I think it's taken a second or third generation to really get behind that we want to know the history.
Yeah. Are you quite confident as well this campaign to commemorate the partition can get some national recognition as well in years to come?
I'm hopeful, and certainly if we can really launch South Asian Heritage Month in its entirety in 2020, Partition Commemoration will become a key event in that month, and that's our aim, is that the month will end on Partition Commemoration Day. And we're really hopeful that government will get behind it and that we'll get some real support nationally to take it forwards.
People from a range of communities shared stories and explored the stalls at the commemoration event. Bhagwant Singh, who has links to the tragedy in 1947, was among those who were present.
I was born after the partition and in a country away from India. I was born in Singapore. But my parents were born in India, my mother-in-law was born in India, and my mother-in-law actually was in Punjab at the time of the partition. And being in Punjab means you're not far away from where the lines of the partition were drawn and all the movement of people. My mother-in-law often described about how dreadful and how frightened they were and how, things were burning, people were rushing, crowds were going all over the place, damaging things, breaking things. She was training to be a teacher at the time, so how all the girls from the college were asked to assemble at the top of the roof because they didn't know what these people are going to come in and attack them, and dreadful times. I mean, that is at the personal family level. Talk about other friends and members of the family who've been there. I mean, they talk about real atrocities.
What would you say is the key to moving on? Is it educating people from quite a young age? Do you think that would help?
Educating people is one thing, but the other thing is our political systems, our leaders have to wake up and say, look, let's not score points. Let's not try to bang away just to stay in power. Let's be the people with the heart to actually serve the people you say you want to serve. Go there and do the job.
Readings also sparked an emotional response from attendees on Saturday, with Ala Ghaderi reciting Sujata Bhatt's emotive poem on the partition.
Partition by Sujata Bhatt. She was 19 years old then, and when she stood in her garden, she could hear the cries of the people stranded in the Ahmedabad railway station. She felt it was endless, their noise, a new sound added to the city. Her aunt her father's sister, would go to the station every day with food and water. She felt afraid, felt that she could not go with her aunt. So she stood in the garden listening. Even the birds sounded different. And the shadows cast by the neem trees brought no consolation. And each day she wished she had the courage to go with her aunt, and each day passed with her, listening to the cries of the people. Now, when my mother tells me this at midnight in her kitchen, she is 70 years old and India is 50. But of course, India is older than that, she says. India was always there. But how I wish I had gone with my aunt to the railway station. I still feel guilty about that. And then she asked me, how can they let a man who knew nothing about geography divide a country?